was defined as the hari-katha lila, the manifested pastimes of Krishna. Krishna lived in Vrindavan about 11 years and 9 months. And when he went to Mathura, and then to Dwarka, and then he came back to Vrindavan to bring everyone here back to the spiritual world of Goloka. And then the pastimes here are aparakatha. They are eternal existing, but they are unmanifested to the material senses. After Krishna disappeared from this world, his great-grandson Vajranabh was made by Maharaj Yudhisthira as the king of this Braj Mandala area. Krishna's primary wife was Rukmini, who had a son named Pradyumna, who had a son named Aniruddha, and Vajranabh was the son of Aniruddha. And he reestablished many of the holy places and established many temples and deities here. But as the centuries passed, again and again, various foreign invaders came to conquer this area of India. And Mathura, Vrindavan, they are conquered by various religions, conquered by various militaries. And in the age of Kali, Krishna descends as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it was he that reestablished Vrindavan for the world. Lord Chaitanya manifested his pastimes in this world, and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita tells there were 3 external and 3 internal reasons for his descent. He appeared to reestablish the principles of religion, as he promised in Bhagavad Gita, to annihilate the miscreants and to protect the pious. He came to establish the Yuga Dharma, Harinam Sankirtan, and to fulfill the prayers of Sri Advaita, his beloved devotees. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's 3 internal purposes was to understand the glory of Sri Radha's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she relishes when she realizes the sweetness of his love. The absolute truth is one, but that absolute truth eternally manifests as 2 for the purpose of transcendental love and pastimes of love. Sri Radharani is the transformation of Krishna's ecstatic love, his Hladini Shakti. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes in great detail how Krishna, who is the supreme truth, the knower of everything, desires to taste the sweetness of Sri Radha's love. He explains himself that Sri Radha is Ashraya, she's the abode of love, and he is the Vishaya, the ultimate object of love. And how in Sri Radha's love, she experiences 10 million times more happiness than he can experience. How Sri Radha's love for him is all-pervading, and there is absolutely no possible space for it to expand. But yet, at every moment, it is infinitely expanding. The gopis of Vrindavan, their love is completely pure because there's no selfishness, there's no egoism. Everything, their bodies, their minds, their words, their lives, are for Krishna's pleasure. And even when they talk about their own happiness, it's only because Krishna becomes happy when he sees them happy. They are only happy for Krishna. And the great contradiction is, although they have absolutely no desire for their own happiness, Krishna gives them 10 million times more happiness than he himself. And of all the gopis, Sri Radha is the source. She is foremost. Krishna tells that without Sri Radha, I can find no happiness from any of the gopis. Here in Vrindavan, there are many places that reveal this truth. There is Shringarvat. In the Ras Leela, Sri Krishna plays upon his flute, and all of the gopis, they detach themselves from everything only for Krishna's happiness. And he danced with them. But simply to increase Krishna's love, Sri Radha left the Rasa Leela. And Krishna left everyone only for her. In this place called Shringarabat, on the bank of Yamuna, the gopas, the cowherd boys, when they would play with Krishna, they would decorate him with flowers and different minerals and leaves and peacock feathers. But on this evening of the Rasa Leela, Sri Krishna found Srimati Radharani, and it was there that he decorated her. Krishna personally picked flowers, and he braided her hair, he decorated her hair. He personally got various different herbs and cosmetics and jewels to ornament her. Krishna becomes the servant of the love of his devotee. Krishna left the loving exchanges of all other devotees to offer such simple services for the pleasure of Sri Radha. At Imlital, when Sri Radha left Krishna and he was feeling great separation from her, he sat and he chanted her names, remembering her. And his beautiful dark complexion became golden as he was totally immersed in his love for her. And when Sri Radha came and saw him with that complexion, she asked him, "How is this?" And he explained that in the age of Kali, to taste the sweetness of your love, I will come in this golden complexion, your complexion. And I will share that love with the whole world through Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy names. Hare. At Mansarovar, when Sri Radha was in separation from Krishna, she cried tears, and those tears filled a lake. And Krishna came there. And there he humbled himself. He became a beggar of the prem, the pure love of Sri Radha. And the great Mahadev Shiva, he bathed there in the tears of Sri Radha to get his greatest, most intimate prayer fulfilled, to become a gopi and assist Krishna and the gopis in their Rasa Leela as Gopeshwar Mahadev. The various places of the pastimes of Krishna, which are very intimate and difficult to understand, give some glimpse into the nature of Sri Radha's love, the source of all love, the source of all devotion. Radha Baba Duti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Krishna to taste that love and to share it with the world, appeared with the sentiments and the complexion of Srimati Radharani as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya made a garland with the holy name and prema, ecstatic love, and he garlanded the whole world without considering who was fit or unfit from a material perspective. He wanted to share the most intimate joy of his own heart with everyone. We were saying that 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya came to Vrindavan. After Lord Chaitanya took initiation from Ishwara Puri in Gaya, in the middle of the night he began to run to Vrindavan. But the celestial beings spoke to him and said, "You have descended into this world to establish the Harinam Sankirtan movement in Navadvip. So go there, and later you shall go to Vrindavan." Lord Chaitanya went back to Navadvip, and there he inundated everyone with love for Krishna. He took sannyas just to reach to people who were too arrogant to receive his mercy. He took sannyas so he could be free to go everywhere and anywhere with no other distractions. It was in Katwa, the day he accepted sannyas with his danda in hand, he called out, "I'm going to Vrindavan." And he started running to Vrindavan town. But Nityananda Prabhu, knowing the grief of his devotees in separation and knowing the Lord's heart, distracted him and redirected him to Shantipur. There, Sachi Devi and the devotees requested him to make his residence in Puri. While Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living in Puri, the thought of Vrindavan would awaken such deep prema, ecstasy. And he made so many attempts to go to Vrindavan, but his devotees would always have some way to keep him back, because they all were fearful, if he goes to Vrindavan, we may never see him again. And finally, when he began his journey to Vrindavan, all his devotees and everyone else came with him. There were literally millions of people following. He came to Ramakeli, where he first met Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. And they told him, if you go to Vrindavan with so many millions of people, you will not be able to appreciate. Better you go alone or with just one or two. So Lord Chaitanya took that very seriously. He returned to Puri, and with the permission and blessings of all of his devotees, along with one person, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he began his pilgrimage. Kaviraj Goswami tells Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu When he would think of Vrindavan, his ecstatic love would increase by hundreds of times. When he was on the path to Vrindavan, it increased thousands of times. In his ecstasies, he passed through the Jarikanda forest, and there he induced the snakes, the elephants, the insects, the tigers, the deers, the trees, and the creepers to experience ecstatic love for Krishna by inducing them to chant the holy names. In a world where there is so much conflict, so much deep, ingrained animosity between people for so many reasons, Krishna taught us that whoever we are, if we sincerely become the servant of the servant of the servant and chant the holy names, we could rise above all of these anarthas or unwanted things. The tigers and the deers embraced and danced together. Lord Chaitanya came to Varanasi, and there he met with Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar, and there he met Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, the son of Tapan Mishra. And from Varanasi, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who stayed about 10 days there, he continued his journey and came to Mathura. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, when Lord Chaitanya arrived in Mathura, the ecstasy of his love increased thousands of times. And when he was roaming through the 12 forests of Vrindavan, it increased limitlessly. When he arrived in Mathura, actually, on his way to Vrindavan, whenever he saw the river Yamuna, he would become so happy. He would jump in the river and sometimes fall unconscious. And in Mathura, he bathed in Vishram Ghat. And then he went to Keshavji, the temple with the deity established by Vrajanath, the great-grandson of Krishna, at Krishna's birthplace, according to Srimad Bhagavatam. There Lord Chaitanya loudly chanted the holy names and danced. And thousands of people from Mathura came to see him. He called out, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And he induced everyone to raise their arms to loudly chant the names of Krishna. In that beautiful scene, one Brahmin came and offered his Dandavat Pranams to Lord Chaitanya. And the two of them danced together. After Lord Chaitanya brought that Brahman to the side and asked him, "From where did you get so much love for Krishna?" And the Brahmin said, "Many years ago, the great Madhavendra Puri came to Mathura on pilgrimage. And there he showed great kindness to me. In fact, he stayed at my home. And I invited him for prasad, and he ate my prasad. And then he went to Govardhan and later established Gopal or Srinathi on top of Govardhan Hill." When Lord Chaitanya heard this person's connection with Madhavendra Puri, immediately he offered his full prostrated obeisances to the feet of this Brahmin. And the Brahmin offered his obeisances to Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya asked, "Why are you bowing down to me? I am your servant. Anyone who has served Madhavendra Puri, I am the servant of that person." Lord Chaitanya is a sannyasi. This man was a householder. The Sanodiya Brahman invited Lord Chaitanya to his home for prasad. And the Brahman asked Lord Chaitanya, "By seeing the type of love for Krishna you have, I believe you must have a connection with Madhavendra Puri too." And Balabhadra Bhattacharya explained how Lord Chaitanya was the disciple of Madhavendra Puri. When he invited him for prasad, he said, "I will supply the ingredients and Balabhadra Bhattacharya can cook for you." The reason was this: a Sanodiya Brahman was considered of a lower class, and no sannyasi would ever take food from the hands of a Sanodiya. But Lord Chaitanya explained, if Madhavendra Puri accepted your prasad, then what a great honor and fortune it will be for me to accept your prasad. And he quoted the beautiful verse, Mahajano yena gata sapanta, that the true path to perfection is by following in the footsteps of the great souls. It is interesting, the first lesson Lord Chaitanya taught us when he came to Vrindavan is that our true qualification is not based on anything material. Saragrahi means one who seeks the essence. One who loves Krishna. One who engages in the loving service of Krishna is above all varnashram and caste considerations. Lord Chaitanya would often quote from the scriptures, Aho bhata swapachoto guriyam. If one sincerely chants the holy names of the Lord, even if such a person is born of a most sinful family, Chandala, One is fit to be a guru for the whole world. One who is the servant of a true Vaishnav is worshipable. It was there at Keshivji temple that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established this principle once again. Bhat bhakta puja vyadika. That worship of a devotee is more pleasing to Krishna than worshiping of Krishna himself. Mathura is Krishna's birthplace. I'd like to speak briefly the story from Srimad Bhagavatam. Mother Earth, Bhumi Devi, took the form of a cow and approached Lord Brahma, explaining how much suffering she was enduring. Seeing her own children and her resources being exploited by selfish, demoniac, arrogant people. Lord Brahma, along with Lord Shiva and the other devas, they all went to the ocean of milk and offered prayers to Vishnu. And Vishnu revealed his plan to descend within the Yadu dynasty. Vasudeva and Devaki were married, and Devaki's cousin brother Kamsa, to please his sister, was going to personally drive her to her new home. But he heard a voice, an unembodied voice. Kamsa, you are a fool. The eighth son of Devaki will kill you. So he was about to sever her head. But Vasudeva, he promised Kamsa, every child I have, I will give to you. So they lived in his prison, and 6 consecutive sons Kamsa slaughtered. And the 7th child was Shankarshan, or Baladev, who took shelter in the womb of Devaki, and then on the order of Krishna, Yogamaya transferred him to the womb of his eternal mother, Rohini, who was under the care of Nanda Maharaj in Mahavan. And then Krishna, by his own sweet will, appeared within the heart of Vasudeva. And from Vasudev's heart, like the sun lights up the full moon, he entered the heart of Devaki. At midnight, Janmashtami, Krishna appeared from the womb of Devaki in his form with 4 arms, holding the conch shell and the club and the lotus flower and the chakra, beautifully decorated with ornaments And Vasudeva and Devaki offered their prayers to him, knowing him to be the supreme personality of Godhead. And Devaki as a mother, even though knowing he is God, still her motherly affection. Kamsa has already killed 6 of my children because he's so afraid that Vishnu will come. If he sees you, he may harm you. Please conceal your form. And by her wish, Krishna or Vishnu manifested the form of a little baby. Before which he told Vasudeva, bring me across the Yamuna and exchange me with the child of Yashoda and Nanda. All the doors opened and all the jail keepers fell asleep. And Vasudeva brought Krishna across the Yamuna to Mahaban, where he exchanged with the little baby girl Yogamaya and brought her back to Mathura. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells us from his incredible realizations and knowledge of various scriptures that Krishna simultaneously took birth to Yashoda and Nanda in Mahaban and Vasudeva and Devaki in Mathura. And Srila Jiva Goswami in Gopal Champu gives an elaborate explanation of the story of Krishna's birth to Nanda and Yashoda in Gokul. When Lord Chaitanya appeared, in this age of Kali, to give light, to give hope, to give the supreme benediction of Krishna Prem and Krishna Nam to the world, he performed the same pastimes as Krishna. In fact, there are so many harmonious features of the pastimes of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. We just spoke about how when the earth was covered with demoniac influences, Brahma and Shiva and other devas, they prayed to the Lord and performed tapasya for the Lord to appear within this world. In Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, Krishna's maternal grandfather, Parjanya, appeared as Upendra Mishra. Bhariyasi, his wife, appeared as Kamalabhati, and they gave birth to Nanda Maharaj. Sumukha and Patala Devi were the mother and father of Yashoda. Nilambar Chakravarti Thakur and his good wife gave birth to Sachi. Gorganodesh Dipika tells us that Sachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra were Nanda and Yashoda. And all the incarnations of God, they all entered into the bodies of Lord Chaitanya. Similarly, Kausalya and Dasarat, Devahuti and Kardama, Prishni and Prishnigarabha and Sutapa, Devaki and Vasudev, they all entered into the bodies of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi. Lord Brahma appeared as Haridas Thakur. The original Shiva, Sadashiva, along with Mahavishnu, appeared as Advaitacharya. And just as Brahma and Shiva prayed for the Lord to appear on the banks of the river Ganges, or Ganga, Sri Advaita and Haridas Thakur performed great tapasya, offering prayers for Lord Krishna to appear within this world. Kavi Karnapur tells that Sadashiva, on the day of Diwali, he saw Krishna. This was 5,000 years ago. He saw Krishna dancing with the gopas, the cowherd boys. And he longed and yearned to dance with Krishna like this. So Krishna allowed him to come as a cowherd boy to dance with him. And later, as explained, Lord Shiva, Sadashiva, yearned to be a part of Krishna's beautiful pastimes with the gopis. And he was given entrance as Gopishwar Mahadev into Krishna's Madhurya Ras. It is that same Sadashiva who, as Sri Advaita, out of compassion for all living beings, he fasted, he prayed, he cried for Krishna to appear. And in answer to his prayer, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Devaki, 6 of her children were killed. And how her and Vasudev were in such deep desperation